Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by again, and thank you everyone who liked and commented yesterday. Um, Only two games to talk about again, the NLCS and the ALCS, so we'll get right into it. So the pitching matchup last night for the Dodgers versus Braves was Clayton Kershaw. He's no longer the ace, but he can definitely take over a game still. And he was facing off against rookie Atlanta pitcher Bryce Wilson, and he was actually not on the Braves roster for most of the season. He was actually on the alternate training site. So he, coming into this game, had a 1-0 record with a 4.02 ERA, and he had 15 strikeouts. So he's had one decision go his way so far. So we'll see tonight what he did. So first off, Kershaw and Wilson started a pitching duel, which definitely isn't unexpected from Clayton Kershaw, being that he is who he is, but he's been known to have his playoff ups and downs. Like he's been in big games and he has a negative record in wins. I think he's 3-6 in National League Championship games, which is not a good recipe for winning. So Kershaw showed off. It was vintage Kershaw. He went 6 innings deep, and as did Bryce Wilson. Kept up pitch for pitch with Kershaw, which was really impressive. So started off the game, Edwin Rios hit a one-run home run to start off the game, and Marcell Ozuna also hit a home run too. So early on in the game, Ronald Acuna chopped a ball to Kershaw. Kershaw missed it, and Swanson threw it. Or pardon me, he chopped the ball, getting the teams mixed up. He chopped the ball over, and Acuna ran to the base and he fell backwards. And when he fell, he landed backwards to brace himself, and he jammed his left wrist. So it was looking really bad because Acuna's had wrist issues before, but it was more about him getting drilled by pitches. Everyone was wondering, and I was thinking, like, he's definitely not staying in. But he did. He waved off the trainers, and that's not saying he's okay. I mean, if it was a regular season game, I think he definitely probably would have been pulled out of the game. So, and then we have Freddie Freeman got an RBI double, as did Ozuna and Swanson, which made it 3-1 Braves. And then the Braves had a chance to get out of the bases loaded jam, and they did successfully, which was a huge blown opportunity for the Dodgers bats because they were so hot yesterday. You'd think maybe this would be their chance to even up the series, but they ground out and couldn't get anyone who was on the bases in to score. So it was a pretty uneventful game other than the pitching and the Braves dominating. So last game it was the Dodgers dominating offensively, and this game the Braves took that route. So the final was 10-2, and Atlanta now has a 3-1 series lead. So they're one game away from the World Series, and they haven't won a World Series since the 90s. So again, now it's with the other series with the Astros, they're also climbing back, trying to even up that series, and the Dodgers are going to have a similar task now. So now on to that next matchup, the Rays and Astros. So the starter for the Rays was actually the opener. He wasn't a starter. He got a couple innings. It was John Curtis, which was the pitcher that I spoke about the other day who made that great defensive play. He got a couple innings in. And then Luis Garcia, he was starting tonight, and they said he has a great fastball, but he's really erratic with his other stuff, like his off-speed. And he only played 5 games above A-level baseball this last year. He was a 2017 signing out of Venezuela, and he had, again, the 5 games above A-ball were all MLB games this year. So a lot of players are getting their MLB debuts in this year, and a lot of players who probably wouldn't have for another 2 to 3 years are getting the chances, which is nice because you're getting the exposure, and maybe other teams can recognize that maybe you're ready before other teams think you are. So the game started off with Springer hitting an early first inning, one-run home run, and making it 1-0 Astros. Brandon Lau was talked about before the game by Kevin Cash, and he was in a 3 for 40 slump in the postseason, and he hadn't had a hit in the CS. And he broke out of that in a big way. He hit a home run for them, and it was enough to tie the game. So they trust him. He's a good hitter, but he, again, is, when you're in a slump, you feel like you can't hit anything to where you needed to get it to go. Sometimes you're just thinking home run, and sometimes you just have to simplify it and get the bat on the ball, which he did. And I remember him tearing up the Blue Jays this year, so I had full confidence that he wasn't going to go 0-4 the rest of the series or anything like that. So next up, Michael Brantley had a 2 RBI single, which made it 3-1 Astros. Good veteran hitter on their team. A lot of people forget about him, his time in Cleveland. He's actually batting third for the Astros right now, and it's for good reason. He comes up in big spots and drives and runs, just like how I talked about Freeman on the Braves. He's throwing my marker around. He's a veteran hitter, and he's a good, smart veteran hitter. And so back on to someone who's really hot in the playoffs and has been a really nice surprise. Randy Arozarena of the Rays, again, hits another home run, his 6th of the postseason, and that cuts the lead 3-2 for the Astros. And to end the inning, third baseman Alex Bregman of the Astros made a great barehanded defensive play. Came over to him. It looked like it was going to go either way. He ended up getting it, and like I said, end the inning just shows the Astros have a very great infield defensively when it's doing well. And again, we'll talk about Jose Altuve quickly. He had another almost throwing error where it was a simple, almost just a little put out to Garcia, and he bounced it in the dirt, but this time Garcia saved it. So you should be buying him dinner, because this is about the 3rd or 4th time in the series that I can remember that Altuve's thrown low to him. So late in the game, Ji-Man Choi ties it up with a 1-run home run, and that sends the game to the bottom of the 9th. And after that, everyone knows what happens if you watched it. Carlos Correa walked it off for the Houston Astros, and not his first postseason walk-off. He's had some very big home runs and walk-offs in his career, and he's a great hitter, and he forces Game 6. So I don't think this really changes my opinion on that they're still too little too late, because I think the Rays are too good to lose the next 2 in a row, but I wouldn't put it past the Astros to ring off 2 wins, because they have the experience. They beat the Rays last year, so I still am picking the Rays to ultimately close this series out. Whether it's in 6 or 7, we'll see, but it's definitely really entertaining baseball, and I'd say it's must-watch TV. So, on to hockey. There's only 2 pieces of news right now that, when I last checked, I didn't put on the board, just having the notes in front of me. So, the 2nd overall pick to LA Kings, Quinton Byfield, he just signed his 3-year entry-level contract with the LA Kings. And I don't know if he's going to go back to Sudbury Wolves for the year and get some more seasoning in, or if he's going to be ready to step into the Kings roster. Again, they're a very weak team up the middle right now, aside from Kopitar. And I could see him maybe coming in if they think that Kopitar is going to be good enough to mentor him, which I don't doubt that he isn't. But who knows if the front office thinks that he's ready or needs some more OHL time. And he's also as you saw, he's the highest... he's the first black player to be taken that high in the draft in NHL history, which is really great. And the last piece of news is for the NHL is that Mangiapane on the Calgary Flames signed a 2-year, $4.85 million extension. So it's pretty quiet on the NHL front right now. So someone in the comments asked me if I could talk about the Philadelphia Flyers, which thank you for giving a suggestion, and I am working on it. Trying to do my thoughts on what their last season was like. I won't say too much, but I'd like if anyone else has any other ideas. If you want me to talk about your favorite team, your favorite player, anything like that, I'd be more than happy. Like I said, just because I'm a Leafs fan doesn't mean that I'm just going to talk Leafs or anything like that. I'd love to talk about any team, anything, any league. So it's going to wrap it up for now. I might have the Flyers video out later tonight. I'm going to go work on it, and we'll see what happens tonight with the baseball. Possibly two teams advancing to the World Series tonight. Be interesting. So again, thanks for everyone for stopping by. Please consider subscribing, hit the like button, and comment down below if you like what you're seeing or if you have any ideas for anything else. And I will see you in the next video.